I'm just kind of over just being nice to the right and being nice to these Trump supporters and pretending like they have a legitimate discourse and that their ideas are legitimate and should be treated with legitimacy. They shouldn't. We need to call them out for what they are. They're conspiracy theories, they're unfounded, they're untrue.
Welcome to the Bald Brad Show. In today's episode, we have Calvin Klein pushing an ad campaign that shows a woman pregnant. But that's not what they're saying. They're saying men can be pregnant, and that's what they're pushing here, folks. It is quite astonishing. We got pictures and everything for you. But before we jump into this article, as always, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button and share this link with your friends and family all over social media. Your help would be greatly appreciated. This one comes from our friends over at the Daily Wire, and they say here, a Mother's Day ad campaign from Calvin Klein featured a transgender man as part of the brand's inclusive spread. Quote, today, in support of women and mothers around the world, we highlight the reality of new families, the company shared an Instagram description, which included a variety of photos, including a mother with just her child and an interracial couple as well. The pregnant transgender man, Roberto, also shared the image with around 35,000 followers on the platform. Now let's all look at this photo together. Just take a moment to kind of analyze it and see kind of what stands out. What doesn't seem normal about this? There's a few things. For me, at least, there's a scar right there where that female's boobs used to be. And clearly they're pregnant. They have a lot of hair, which tells me they've been taking testosterone, hormone enhancers. And, you know, look, it's a female. I know that that person thinks they're a male, but that doesn't make them one. Men cannot have babies. They're going to use words like reality in here that we just read. They're going to support women and mothers around the world by saying that men can now have babies. I don't know how that's supporting women at all, but I see two females here. I know they're going to classify this as hate speech and that, you know, why do you have to say that and all these things? Because I deal with reality. I deal with this is two females laying there. These are two biological females. So the left doesn't want to deal with reality. They think we're all conspiracy theorists and all these other things. Now, you might be saying, you know, Brad, where are you getting this conspiracy theory from? You keep saying that the left always calls conservatives conspiracy theorists and all these other things. Well, I'm just going to pull up one example that I found today. There are a ton of examples that you can get from the left calling conservatives conspiracy theorists. We don't live in reality, all sorts of stuff here. This comes from the Young Turks. It does come from the Damage Report. So let's go ahead and play this together.
I am just kind of over just being nice to the right and being nice to these Trump supporters and pretending like they have a legitimate discourse and that their ideas are legitimate and should be treated with legitimacy. They shouldn't. We need to call them out for what they are. They're conspiracy theories, they're unfounded, they're untrue, they're unproven. And they're ridiculous. And why is it controversial to just say that? I feel like before we used to be able to say, that sounds crazy to me, and done, right?
Again, folks, that was just a little bit of a snippet here from the Young Turks. I might actually do a whole reaction on that video. It is quite long, but I wanted to give you an example of what the left thinks about the right. And when we're talking about reality here, this is something we used to all be on common grounds with. You know, the sun rises in the east, sets in the west. We can look at a female and say, oh yeah, you're a female, you have boobs, you have a vagina, you know, you have ovaries, you have all those things. And then we look at a male, oh, you have testicles, you have a penis, you know, you clearly have a beard, you have all sorts of things that would make you a male biologically, and we would be done, right? Those are all objective truths. We can all look at that. Well, that's reality, but they don't want to deal in reality anymore. And if we now say that what's on the screen here is if we say this is a female, then we're not in reality anymore, because they're going to tell us that this is a male and we have to abide by that. And if we don't, then we're just conspiracy theorists. We make all this stuff up and we don't have fine sounding arguments. Well, it says a few days later, the post had generated more than 30,000 likes on the platform. The comments were overwhelmingly supportive, which was likely due in part to follow-up clarification from the Calvin Klein brand in the comments. They said this, quote, "We embrace this platform as an inclusive and respectful environment for individualism and self-expression." Hey, I respect that. At Calvin Klein, we tolerate everything except intolerance. We tolerate everything? Well, then it's not everything, you know. I mean, you can't say the word everything there if you don't accept it, but, you know, we'll go on. Except intolerance. Any intolerant commentary will be removed, and any accounts issuing hateful statements may be blocked. In other words, folks, it's anything that we don't like. That's what that means. And we could say anything that you say is hateful. For example, if I comment out there, hey, cool photo, but that's a female, right? Like, I respect your whole individualism. You want to express yourself, stuff like that. That's fine. But don't expect other people to play into this fictitious reality that you've created by saying this is a man giving birth when in actuality it's not. Quote, we look forward to continue a positive and inclusive dialogue in partnership with our community. Still, some less than favorable comments remained on the post, which doesn't surprise me at all. Well, here are some of them. Quote, I'm really confused, one person shared. If you echoed this sentiment, genuinely questioning how men could get pregnant. Quote, virtue signaling at its finest. None of this has anything to do with clothing, another commentator wrote. And absolutely correct. I don't know what that has to do with wearing underwear, but I mean, there is male and female underwear, so maybe that's a little bit to getting involved in that. Who the heck knows, folks? We've all seen some crazy ads that show some sort of random stuff that has nothing to do with the ad itself. Multiple people vowed to never purchase Calvin Klein items again. The campaign came just weeks after Apple was slammed for adding the pregnant man emoji to its platform. Progressives have been pushing the narrative that men can get pregnant, with President Biden's first budget proposal including the phrase birthing people in a provision about health care and effort to be more inclusive. So what they do is they change the vocabulary. They're changing the words that's being utilized so that everything can be more inclusive. And if you can control the language, you can control the culture. If you can control the culture, you can control the politics. If you can control the politics, the culture, as well as the narrative, then you control the people. That's kind of what they're doing here, folks. It's been done for a long time. The AP Style Guide also changed its guidelines on the issue, saying, as part of an update, phrasing like pregnant people or people who seek an abortion seeks to include people who have those experiences but do not identify as women, such as some transgender men and some non-binary people, Fox News reported. So, I mean, again, I'm trying to deal in reality here. I see this. I see the scars. So why are the scars there if this was not a female or is a female? So, again, there you have it, folks. Proof that the left thinks we're conspiracy theories. If we deal in actual reality by calling this person saying, hey, you know what? You're not a man. I'm sorry. You're just not. You are a female. Your chromosomes are female. Your cellular, molecular levels are female. That's not going to change. You can get all the constructive surgery you want. You can take all the hormone enhancers you want. That doesn't make you a male, and you're giving birth. So if you want to be a male, maybe don't get pregnant, and you'd probably be closer to a male than you were before, which again, it doesn't make you a male. So I don't know, folks. These are crazy times we live in. Like, honest to God. I try to wrap my head around this stuff. I'm not trying to poke fun at anybody, folks. I'm not trying to belittle anybody, I promise. I'm merely just pointing out the fact that I'm tired of the left saying that we're not dealing reality, but then the left is the one themselves that is not dealing actual reality. So that's all I'm saying, folks. I'm tired of this whole stuff being pushed on everybody, you know, and you're the conspiracy theorist, you're the psycho, you're the one that's in the wrong, you're all these things because, again, you identify that person as an actual female because biologically they are identified as a female, even though they think in their mind they're a male, which they are not, folks. As always, let me know what you think about all this in the comments below. I love reading them. We got the greatest community, folks. Can I just say, I love reading your guys' comments. I crack up every single day. I really do appreciate all of you subscribing, hitting that like button all the time, and then honestly, just watching my commentary, my opinions, and my episodes, folks. With that being said, I will see you later today here on The Bald Brad Show.